Look, let's have a look at the levels of immigration. The Daily Telegraph today reporting a massive 1.15 million migrants have arrived under the Albanese government. That's 62% more migrants than during the Rudd-Gillard-Rudd era, when it was also quite high. Now, Andrew, the government has argued publicly that it does intend to cut the migration program. But do you think that this now could be delayed or should be delayed? And do you think migration might be kept high so as to keep Australia out of a recession?
Well, Shari, you're right that migration numbers have been high. And in particular, they've been high in comparison to the record lows during COVID. There was a big bounce back from those record lows once international borders reopened. And once students started to come back to Australia from other countries. What the government has now done is to make sure that we manage the overall rate of migration. We are in the process of halving the net migration to Australia from its peak by the end of this financial year. And we're doing that through responsible actions to close some of the loopholes that the previous government left in the post-COVID era, by making sure that we bring integrity back to our international education system, and by reforming the migration system to make sure it best suits the needs of Australia and the skills gaps that we have in this country. So I think we're getting the migration numbers down by half and doing it in a way that will deliver lots of positive benefits to Australia over the longer term.
Bridget, the issue is the migration levels are putting more pressure on housing, no doubt about it. But without the high migration, we'd be in recession right now. So do you think, given the economy is still teetering and we're still walking that narrow path to avoid going into recession, do you think actually perhaps the government does need to keep migration levels high for at least the next 12 months?
No, I don't, Shari. I think if they actually did other things, like got their spending under control and focused on productivity enhancing measures rather than politically enhancing economic measures, you'd see a different economic profile right now. The reality is we've got record migration because the Labor Party has approved a record number of visas since coming to government. That's it, full stop. And if you are in our suburbs or congested regional capitals, you cannot afford a house if you're in the market, and you can't find a house to actually rent. And that is the reality. And anybody who sat in the car park that are our main road arterials at peak hour knows that we need to put a brake on migration. And I'm really tired of hearing the talking points and yet again seeing no action from the ministers responsible on behalf of the Australian people to get this under control.